Hello, hello, hello. What's all this mucking about? Sorry, let me get my camera readjusted here. Okay, so Smashing Pumpkins have just released their 12th album, Cyr. And even though it is not directly in the title, it is kind of implied that it is the sequel and the Shiny and Oh So Bright series. And this album, for me anyway, at least a year ago, I thought was going to be a little bit more rock heavy. Because they were going to go on the Rock Invasion 2 tour, which they said was going to include jamming and all this crazy shit on stage. And Billy Corgan was reunited with one of his guitars that he had lost during the Gish era. So I kind of assumed that was the direction the band was going to go in on their next project. But in fact, it is quite the opposite. It is 100% synth-laden. I would not consider this album rock at all. If anything, it is pop, which is fine. I don't have anything against that. But just for me personally, I wasn't expecting it until the first singles came out and a couple other promotion things that they did. So this is the second album to feature a reunited band, at least for the most part, with Jimmy Chamberlin returning on drums in the first studio appearance since Zeitgeist, which was yet another reunion. And James Iha is probably the biggest name to be reunited with them since he has not been in the band for 20 years. However, they are missing a core classic member in Darcy on bass. And although that was kind of a hot topic when the last album came out, I don't think that's really much of an issue anymore, seeing as the last album kind of proved that these guys could work together and write at least a few likable songs and a few classics. So that brings us to Cyr. Is this album worth the buy? Is this album proving that as a band they can continue in scope, continue their stride, continue a reunited band? And I think it does, yes. I think it proves that they can make a big album. The other one was it was only 8 tracks. This one is 20. So this is much bigger in scope. It's much bigger in how many songs we're going to write, how we're going to make them sound different, yada, yada, yada. And so I feel like it has something different to prove. And like I said, I think it more or less succeeds. But the reason I'm kind of hesitant on saying this is a good album is because I really find no track standing out as a classic. The only thing I find standing out as for this album is that it is just so different from every other Smashing Pumpkins album. You can find hints of the synth and the keyboards in Oceana and Monuments to an Elegy, but other than that, you're really not going to hear any of the synth stuff on any other project, let alone with James Iha. And so that kind of begs the question then. I know I've been dancing around it and kind of leading up to it. Is this album worth the buy? Is this album good? I think it's okay. It's, to me anyway, it's kind of like background noise. I just don't find anything about it standing out. Everything, like I said, is synth-laden, and none of it is poorly written. None of it is poorly performed, any instrument, there's some electric guitar, there's some acoustic guitar, there's some female backing vocals, but, for the most part, it's just Jimmy on the drums, Billy singing, and synth. And that's kind of the expectation for 20 songs. And it's a formula, but it's a formula that sounds almost like a soundtrack to a movie. It sounds like something I would put on during a car ride with a bunch of friends and we want background noise. To me, it just doesn't hit. And maybe that's the point. It's not supposed to be a big rock, melancholy epic, which is fine. But for me personally, I kind of want that. I kind of want that punch. And I'm just not getting it from this album. So this is really a middle of the road record for me. One hand, it's nice, it's chill, it's a pleasant album to listen to. The other hand, I find it lackluster and not really stand out compared to the Smashing Pumpkins classics. As a Pumpkins fan, I'm pleasantly surprised, but also as a Pumpkins fan, I am not getting that rock and roll that I want. So that's just kind of a conflict of interest, but it doesn't demean this album in any way. Yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about it just because it's just so nice. It's just really nice. Anyway, that's just how I feel about it. Please tell me how you guys feel. I've been a Pumpkins fan for about 5 years, so I am pretty familiar with their work and all the members and all that shit. So this is just kind of a weird album to me. And I don't really know how to process it. But like I said, please tell me what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Is there something I'm not seeing? Is there something that's not clicking with me? Is it clicking for you guys? I don't know. I'm kind of lost on this one. So anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, all that bull crap. Stay heavy. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.